party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baka got a weird case. Why is he around? Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 wop. That fuck 'em up. Wop, 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 wop. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord.
And it's probably a minor. Fuck you. So, I was gonna make a video about gender and desirability, and that's definitely coming, but then fucking Kendrick Lamar happened. So I want to talk about all of the nonsense and the craziness that has been happening with that beef. I look young, but I'm 32, and I have been a Drake hater since 2009.
What about Drake? You like Drake?
No.
My man.
He didn't even say a little bit. He didn't even say halfway.
That's my guy right there.
No.
That's why X is necessary in the game right there.
Okay. Now, why don't you like Drake? I don't like anything about Drake.
I
I don't like his voice. I don't like what he talks about. I
be trying to
I don't
tell
like
these
his
people.
face. I don't like the way he walks, like nothing. I don't like his haircut. I might just, let me shut up. I'll just stop right there.
Oh my god.
Damn it, man.
And like most people who mistreat others, they usually start with misogynoir. So this is just a disclaimer for the entire overarching theme of the video. Is when we say things like listen to black women and femmes, it's not because we want you guys to only hear us and nobody else. It's that if somebody mistreats us, they're most likely gonna mistreat everybody else because of the crux that we sit under with race and gender and sexuality and sexism.
I said, damn, bitch.
Desirability, which is also a part of the conversation. So yeah, we're not just saying it just to fucking say it, okay? We're saying it because there's always merit to someone's misogynoir. If someone has misogynoir, they're more likely than not gonna be fucked up in other areas, because in order to believe in such a thing of black women and femmes being the worst, you have to believe in white supremacist capitalist patriarchy.
Because there's a lot of things I want to say. Like, I have never made a video about this man, but I'm gonna make a video because particularly relating to his colorism and the colorism that has been perpetuated by this man since a long time ago. So please, I beg, don't come for me for having the receipts. Come for the person that's producing the things that's making me read the receipts.
But not just believe in it, but like ride for it, love it, live it. That's your whole shit, right?
And chain you like American slaves.
So let's talk about it. Drake has been an unbelievable, creepy weirdo for a long time. And I know a lot of people don't realize this because they just want to dance. They don't care about substance, which honestly right now I just blocked someone on a larger creator on TikTok because she's trying to say that because I don't listen to Drake because he's a pedophile, and I didn't listen to him before I knew he was a pedophile. Let's get that straight, okay? I don't fucking listen to Drake.
Lyrically?
Absolutely. I feel him. I'm not gonna say lyrically, but I feel him.
You just said lyrically though.
He's not a great lyricist. I feel him. Yeah. No. No, he's not a great.
Insert DMX clip here. I'm a Sagittarius. Certain people just rub us the wrong way, honestly, and Drake is definitely one of them. Ugh.
Drake?
Yes!
Y'all niggas better stop playing with me in here.
So she was trying to say that I am only not a fan of Drake because it's a TikTok opinion, where it's like, what are you even talking about? Like, some of us in real life actually stand by our principles. So when we hear things like, oh, someone's being a pedophile, we're not gonna just, we're not gonna ignore that and keep listening to it because we like the beat or whatever. If we hear somebody say a credible allegation, we're just gonna delete them for our playlist if they were even on our playlist in the fucking first place.
I ain't tell you nothing else, niggas know I don't lollygag, but fuck it. Let's get straight to the motherfucking body bag.
like it's so hard to cut off artists that they like once they find out something bad about them. It's not hard.
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch. Your thoughts ain't my thoughts. Bitch, I'm flowing straight from the survival scroll. Cut that bitch off. Next caller.
Horrible people make good art all the time. Hitler was a pretty decent fucking painter. Does it matter? Obviously not. That's an extreme example, but that's how I feel when people are like, oh, like, people still bump R. Kelly, people still bump Drake. Yeah, but those people are insane, okay? They're out of their minds. They're too far gone for me to care or comprehend about their opinions. Because if you think that's enough, that someone having clout is enough to ignore their poor behavior, you're a part of the problem. You know what I mean? And I really enjoy that Kendrick took this long to even say anything, because I can relate to that. Like I said in my last video about music and being in punk and hardcore scenes, I have been around for a long time, and there's a lot of horrible people in hardcore. Like, some of your faves are rapists. Some of your faves gang rape people. Some of your faves fucking share nudes of each other. People, you know, they share nudes that weren't given to them non-consensually. They share it in the group chat. You know why I know? Because it's happened to fucking me. It happened to me. It happened to me. And the reason why these people are still on top, because people, and whenever I say y'all, I'm not saying you specifically. If it hits, do some internal reflection. But if I'm saying y'all, I mean society. And the reason is that y'all don't believe people like me. People need to know that these people are either horrible or predatory, and they deserve exactly what's coming to them. People who are horrible don't deserve accolades and praise. They don't deserve to go on tour and make thousands of dollars for merch and live their life working as a full-time musician. They don't deserve that shit, which is why you guys sound nuts being like, oh, it doesn't matter what the allegations are, people are still gonna go up for Drake. Not if everybody collectively decides to stop listening to him. If we all collectively decide that Drake is not a good person, then his records won't be playing anymore. But it's motherfuckers like y'all who are like, oh, everybody else is listening, so I'm gonna keep listening. That's why Genocide's still happening. You know, what do they say? You only need about 3% of the population to change things. And the reason why we haven't gotten to 3% is motherfuckers like that, who are like, oh, it's not gonna matter, or, you know, Israel's already there. It's the same energy. And I wanted to talk about this too. Everybody wants to call out Beyonce for Zionists listening to her music, even though she can't control that. Like, you think she can control the fact that racist people like her music? It's almost like you guys don't listen to black people. A lot of racist people like black music. Duh. Like, every Drake fan who's non-black and says the N-word.
Don't be hating.
I wanted to talk about a few things in relation to just this beef in general, but also stuff that I have started putting together. Drake has been calling himself the certified lover boy for a while, but I'm a former sex worker, and I don't know if you guys all know this, but lover boy is a type of pimp.
Well, Lena was telling us that there were essentially two kinds of pimps. Mm-hmm. There were the guerrilla pimps, yes, which are the ones that are forceful, yes, violent, probably what most people think of. Mm-hmm. And then there were the Romeo pimps.
Yes, and me personally, my own personal opinion, I think the Romeo pimps are way more dangerous. Mm-hmm. The guerrilla pimps, once you get beat up so many times, you're like, okay, I'm done. There's really no emotional attachment, even though there is that Stockholm syndrome, where people start to care about their captors, where Romeo pimps, these girls are in love.
It's like an emotional abuse as well, in addition to physical.
Yes, and it's hard for them to get away because the guy can just say something sweet to them and they're like, you know what, I love him, I'm going back.
A Romeo pimp is someone who presents as a boyfriend or a lover or a friend who just presents himself as someone who cares about you, cares about what's happened to you, cares enough to listen to you only to use it against you. He would give me gifts, like I said, and he would take me out and he would listen to everything I had to say. I mean, I thought I had made it. I thought I had arrived. I had a man who cared about me, who listened to me, but that wasn't the case. He was a super predator. When he took me to that warehouse and he beat me and he raped me and he put that chain on my ankle and he told me that I would have to have sex with his friends, I just couldn't believe it.
He is saying he's a Loverboy Pimp. And then the cover of that fucking album is a bunch of women pregnant. He was telling us who he was. We just weren't paying attention as a society as a whole. He's telling us, I'm a Loverboy Pimp that gets the women that work for me pregnant. Look at all the women I got pregnant. That's what Loverboy Pimps do. They wine you, they dine you, they'll buy you a Birkin. They'll, write a song for you so you feel all special. And then all of a sudden you realize you have a debt to them. And you have to pay it off with your body. And that's what Drake has been calling himself. And everybody's laughing and enjoying it. But no, he's saying he's a Loverboy Pimp. Yeah, it's disgusting to me. It's really gross. Another thing is I wanted to talk about, it's like, these aren't just allegations, fam. Like, you have to register as a sex offender so people know where they live next to you and, like, if their families are safe and shit. And what's stressing me out the most about that situation is that with the red dots all in Drake's house in Toronto, that red means sexual offense against a minor. And I actually sat and counted all the dots on them because when I saw the picture, I was like, that's more than 10. That's crazy. There's actually 13 people in Drake's entourage and house, maybe including him too, that had to register as a sex offender against a crime against a minor. How do you know that many fucking rapists? How do you willingly know that many rapists? Unless you are one. Unless you co-sign that shit. Like, let's be so for real. It's beyond rap at this point. It's beyond rap at this point. The more I think about it, the more I realize it would make sense that he is actually a Zionist. Zionists are incredibly anti-black, okay? Why do you think he keeps saying lines about George Zimmerman and fucking runaway slaves and shit like that? But he still wants to actively be a part of black culture. That is insane to me. But then again, these people want to wear black people like in Get Out. They want to wear our skin, okay?
Hey, at what point does this Kendrick Lamar beef get old? Like, at what point does it get too corny?
It's actually funny that you say that, man, because people like you are the reason why this beef exists in the first place. When I say people like you, I don't mean because you're white. When I say people like you, I mean people who aren't actually fans of hip-hop, people who aren't actually fans of rap. A lot of you are being exposed in this beef, and I think Kendrick is beefing with you guys more than he is with Drake. He's using Drake to expose you. A true fan of hip-hop is excited right now. A true fan of hip-hop, they can't get enough of it. We're all I mean, me and my friends, we're talking about it at work. It just doesn't make sense for anybody who actually likes anything in life. How can you get enough of football if you're a football fan? How can you get enough of basketball if you like basketball? How can you get enough of this if you actually like rap? So just keep that in mind. When you hear people talking like this, or you hear people say certain things in regards to this beef, if you notice their criterias for judging the beef, or like what they're formulating their opinion based off of, a lot of times it don't have nothing to do with hip hop. A lot of times it don't have nothing to do with rap. Don't let these people fool you, bro. A lot of these motherfuckers ain't even rap fans, man. These people ain't even fans of the genre, and we letting them dictate what's going on. Most of these people are the Drake fans, too. Are Drake fans really rap fans? That's what I want to know.
And by those people, I mean all non-black people who participate in black culture for clout and coolness. Black people invented cool in the actual literal sense of the word. Coolness has always existed, but cool being used as a colloquial term about like your aura, your aesthetic, your essence, that started in the 1920s and the 1930s in America with jazz musicians. And ever since then, people who are non-black have been using black culture to give themselves an edge. Since in whiteness, white supremacy and being white is seen as being pure, and like, and that pureness means like you have a lack of context or lack of culture or understanding. People automatically will jump to blackness to give themselves personality. The first thing a non-black person does when they don't know themselves fully is imitate a black person.
About, because this is my real hair.
Oh, okay.
This is not, I just snatched this up earlier. I wouldn't go as far as plain James. Now she is a bitch.
Aquafina, Post Malone, Miley Cyrus, hell, people I went to high school with, partners I've dated, and it's always really insane actually, because I've talked about this a little bit on my page. I'm from the projects in Bed-Stuy, but I grew up middle school and high school in the suburbs. So even me, even though I'm from a working class hood background, I'm not hood. I would never claim to be hood. I'm not going around acting like I'm a gangbanger or anything like that. Like, that's just not who I am at all. And I'm still from Bed-Stuy. I'm a punk rocker who still is from Bed-Stuy, but I'm not the stereotypical person from Bed-Stuy, and I never will be. And that's not me. I never pretended to be, and I never will pretend to be that type of person, because it's just not who I am. What's the point? And I actually was talking about that earlier this week with somebody. It's like, even when I lived in Tompkins projects, I was going to the library after school. I wasn't in the streets. I was not doing none of that shit. I am who I am. I'm from where I'm at. And that's okay. But him?
I can't believe Drake did this. That was crossing the line. That's the line for me. I can't support Drake anymore. And I get that. But my question is, why was your line so far? Your line was, there was many things. There was many lines he had crossed long ago. Long ago. But this is now the line. Like, and my question for this entire video, my question to you all, and the thing I want you guys to reflect on and just sit with this thought is like, why is it that when someone perpetuates colorism, it's like never a strong enough offense to like divest from somebody? And why, on top of that, why is it that when people perpetuate colorism, everyone wants to come to the defense to say that it wasn't interpreted like that, this person wasn't meaning it like that, they're innocent? What is it about colorism that we are so keen to believe people just made innocent mistakes? That's the question for the video.
And people like that, you guys equate blackness with this very particular struggle. And I feel like that's why Drake fans in general are kind of spiraling. It's because that's their hero. That's the person who gave them permission to say the N-word. And that's why I brought up hardcore kids too, because one thing about a hardcore kid, their favorite rapper is gonna be fucking Drake. Why? Because he gives them the permission to associate with blackness in a way that's palpable for them. Same with hardcore, like I was saying before. I have so many stories, bro. Like, I had a story about when I lived in the projects, there was this guy from Knoxville, Tennessee. Literally, Knoxville, okay? He's from Bumblefuck compared to me, but it's, you know, a larger, more suburban city in Tennessee. And he found out I grew up in the projects and wanted to take a picture in front of my projects. And I was laughing, and I'm like, this isn't even, like, a big projects. That was when I was living in Williamsburg projects, not even Tompkins. Like, he just thought any projects meant gutter or hood. But meanwhile, I lived in a building with mostly Hasidim. It was literally like 80% Hasidic Jewish. And so, like, what are you flexing when you doing the fucking hard prison pose in front of my building for, when nobody here is gangbanging? Nobody.
Don't be hating.
It's mostly Jewish people and working class black people in these projects. But it's because I lived in just the thought of it. Just the idea of being in New York City in front of a building was like enough to excite him to want to create a fucking photo shoot. And that's the energy that Kendrick ultimately was really talking about.
Whether you like him or not, Kendrick Lamar is doing what artists are supposed to do right now. He's reading and reflecting the times. And that's why I feel like this is not unrelated to the things going on in the watermelon country right now, or the wealth disparity, or the legislation being passed. Free yourself of the illusion that there's a separation between any of these things, because to me, that's where the actual danger lies. It results in energy and focus being pent up instead of being able to flow as connections are made between all of these seemingly disparate things. Before I continue, just one example of a lyric that reflects this from Kendrick, like in The Heart Part 4, he's like, the world is ending, I'm done pretending, and fuck you if you get offended. Literally, just think about Drake's last project, which I guess would be honestly her loss, versus Kendrick Lamar's last project, which is Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I made a video about how hip-hop was one of the last large-scale countercultural movements, and how I feel that countercultural movements struggle to exist within the context of a social media landscape, because things that would be countercultures ultimately just become content categories and must adhere to all of the rules and limitations of the platforms that they exist on. You need to go back and watch my video on theoretical whiteness because it'll explain this concept more fully. But basically, anyone can be white. Whiteness is an idea, and hip-hop got sucked up into the hungry ghost of pop culture. Read, a piece of blackness got sucked up into the hungry ghost of whiteness. Read, a piece of counterculture got sucked up into the mainstream. Drake is like the human embodiment of what hip-hop became because of where it exists in the context of America, because it became pop culture. You think Drake just fell out of a coconut tree? Like, he comes down through a lineage that goes through Kanye West sound, through the jiggy rap era, this whole trajectory that rap took towards pop. The first branch on the tree that made Drake would be Rapper's Delight, the first rap song ever played on the radio. Kendrick Lamar represents a different branch. Obviously, they pull from most of the same resources and influences, but the way that they present those and repackage those influences puts them on those opposite branches. And so Kendrick Lamar, it represents trying to take hip-hop back to more of a countercultural, ethnically related movement.
And that's the energy that Kendrick ultimately was really talking about y'all not being a part of the culture. That's it. That's it. Certain people who are black and working class, if they grow up in a certain environment and they're proud of it, it's because it takes a lot to come from that experience and still like make it on top, you know what I mean? But y'all make a mockery out of it. It's a mockery to a lot of y'all. It's a mockery, and it's all about dancing for you. You don't care that Drake has all these allegations against him, and he has 12 sex offenders in his house, in his circle. Because you like dancing, which is so fucking stupid to me. Out of all the songs you be dancing to, there are better songs to dance to than Drake.
Step this way, step that way, then step this way, step that way.
There are better artists to dance to than Drake. I feel like Drake fans in general are not the brightest, and I think it's actually on purpose. Like, he's, like Kendrick said it, you make music to pacify him. He's doing that on purpose. He wants you guys to think that opinions about people not supporting pedophiles is just an internet opinion, so you can go out and continue supporting pedophiles, you dummy. Like, like, I don't understand why that's so crazy for you to put two and two together. Like,
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
he wants you to think that I'm the overreactor so he can keep getting away with what he's doing. Just like all predators and all horrible people. They want dumbasses like you to be the ones defending them. They want dumbasses like you to be like, oh yeah, like, I'm a ride from him anyway. This is only on the internet. This beef is only on the internet. No, not for real niggas like me. I actually stand up for what I believe in. If I find out somebody's a pedophile, I'm never gonna listen to their music again if I can help it. If it plays when I'm in the room, I will say something.
Whack! His gear, whack! His jewelry, whack! His footsteps, whack! The way that he talks, whack! The way that he doesn't even like to smile, whack! Me, I'm tight as fuck!
You better check about me in real life. Like, you guys talking about, like, oh, that's just the internet thing. Like, people don't actually stand behind their morals in person. Duh, some of us do. You're just, honestly, when you say that, you are being transparent about where your morality lies. For you, it's not enough.
Cut that bitch off! Next caller.
So just say that. Say, I'm gonna need more evidence because I like this pedophile. Just say that, but you can't because you know you sound fucking insane. So instead you make it about me being over dramatic or us being overreacting. But this is bigger than rap, bro. This is bigger than rap. You don't think it's a part of the agenda to push people to start thinking these relationships are normal and fine? You don't think this is also like in tandem with people trying to get age of consent laws lowered? There's states right now in America right now who are trying to legalize being married to your first cousin and taking away parental permission for marriage. Like, and you think it's okay for me to keep bumping Drake because I like a song of his? Like, get for real. No, like, it's, you guys don't have, maybe it's because I'm autistic, but it's genuinely so easy to separate myself from someone as soon as I find out they did harm, including family, by the way. Like, if I find out you did something fucked up, okay, then that was your choice to mess up our relationship. I didn't do anything, you did. You did it when you did that fucked up thing.
Body bag! Loaded up with your body bag!
And I want to talk about the allegations against Kendrick too, because while they are allegations and him and his wife have both denied them, I think in the same way as pedophilia allegations that's not a normal allegation that people throw around. People don't just throw around like, oh, you beat women. Like, nobody, like, that doesn't happen to normal people. Just like normal people don't get, oh, that guy likes little girls. Like, that's not a normal rumor. So if those allegations are true, then it would be the same thing for Kendrick. I would stop listening to him. Because I'm a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault. So, for me, it's not a matter of talent. My rapist was talented. My abuser was talented. My abuser was sponsored by a sports company. He was an amateur athlete, almost pro. So, you know, like, it does not matter. It doesn't matter. If you're gonna be fucked up, you should probably think about that before you want people to start keeping into consideration that you could have made a mistake or whatever. Like, I just miss when villains were really villains for real, and they were okay with being a horrible person. Because why am I defending myself against you when you know you did some fucked up shit? This is not about me, it's about you. I also want to talk about when Kendrick said you're not a colleague, you're a colonizer. And I think that's the main takeaway, outside of Drake being a fucking rapist, pedophile, piece of shit, is that he is not an authority on culture. And neither are all the non-black people who now feel like they have authority to talk about what Kendrick's intentions are and all this stuff. Like, it's crazy. It's genuinely crazy. Like, no one's saying you can't listen to hip-hop or be a part of rap as a fan, but it is genuinely weird to me as a Black American whose family's been here since 1708. I find it just so bizarre that people participate in Black culture and think that they can consume it in a way like it's food. Like, I love all different types of music. I listen to Mexican music, I listen to Palestinian music, I listen to Japanese music, but do I consider myself an authority on any of those? Am I dressing like a Japanese person in my day-to-day? Like, you guys are fucking weird.
All right, to all my white homies, my white friends who are, you know, on that cookout waiting list for when the cookout comes back, because I want to remind everyone, the cookout is closed. There are no cookout invitations. There have not been any cookout invitations for at least a decade now. But when it comes back up, there's people on the waiting list. For those of you on the waiting list, as you're recognizing that there's a cultural moment happening with Black people right now, before you open your mouth to say anything, I want you to remember this. Okay? Remember those sounds. Then think before you say anything. Because if you say the wrong thing, as per probationary cookout invite protocol, I will not be there to defend you.
I also want to say that it's fucked up to only start caring about abuse against women and the effects of children until, like, a beef comes up, you know what I mean? It's really telling, the response that Hiss got versus Kendrick Lamar when they're talking about the same person. Hiss was not for Nicki Minaj. Drake told Nicki that it was for her, which is why she spiraled out and started talking shit about Meg's dead mother, which is insane. Talking about she's gonna dig up graves and stuff. She still hasn't recovered from that. And she did all that because of Drake. He called her and was like, you heard she's talking about you, right? Meanwhile, the Megan Law's bar was about him and OVO. I think we should give Meg the props that she deserves, because she's the Helen of Troy in this moment.
Roydale and Alberstein's grandmother and my grandmother, okay, they were sisters. So that make me and Roydale and Alberstein, okay, that's going for a second.
She started this. But then, like I said, people don't really listen to Black women. People will listen to Black men repeat Black women. People will listen to white people repeat Black women. But people will actually listen to Black women first? Nah.
So I've been keeping up with the Meg the Stallion and Tory Lanez situation because it's very sad, and it's a situation where Meg the Stallion is a victim of domestic violence where she has been shot. And Drake had the audacity and the gall to make a song making fun of her getting shot. I'm gonna read you guys the lyrics. It's on a song that he has called Circo Loco, And he has a line where he says, "This beat lie about getting shot, but she's still a stallion. She don't even get the joke, but she's still smiling. Give me your plate. In fact, get out of my house." I never understood, like, why would that be funny to you? Why would you be so confident in your misogyny, in your misogynoir, that you want to go and write that in a lyric? And I feel like people were paying so much attention to that song that everyone's saying is fucking zesty. 21, can you do something? Everybody's paying attention to that song that they're not even really giving him full smoke. It's like, I just don't see enough people talking about the colorism that he perpetuates. I don't see enough people calling him out for colorism. So let's get into it, babes. The thing about Drake that really just turned me off was the line that he had in his Non-Stop song, where he literally said this.
Look, hey, I'm a boss spitter, I'm a hard hitter. Yeah, I'm light skinned, but I'm still a dark nigga.
What I want to dissect is the entitlement, the privilege, and the power that he has, where he can say these things and no one ever finds it weird.
The people who are still riding for Drake are people who are okay with both consuming black people like we're a delicacy, and also don't believe that we are allowed to gatekeep or have any real authority around that. I'm not even trying to be funny, but I've noticed just scrolling through the internet the complexion difference between Drake fans and Kendrick Lamar fans. Not to say that Kendrick doesn't have white fans, but the white fans he does have aren't cosplaying being black.
Be like, yo, that's that nigga, you know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing, he open for Jay. That's that nigga, you know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. Yo, that's that nigga, you know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. Yo, that's that nigga. Hold up, hold up!
Oh, we don't wanna hear you say nigga no more. We don't wanna hear you say nigga no more. Stop.
At all. Like, I don't see it. But Drake's fans, oh man, everybody's got a fucking wave cap on, talking about how it's not that deep.
Don't be hating.
I also think Drake fans are being groomed into thinking that things like this aren't that deep for two reasons. Like, if they are of age, they're just being groomed to not use their brains. And if they're underage, he's doing it so he can continue having a fan base and people to, like, young girls to siphon into this trafficking thing. And I'll say alleged. God! Allegedly! Just so nobody bothers me, but look at my eyes. You think I give a shit? I also wanted to say, like I said before, I am a former sex worker, and sex workers don't like pimps. I know culture likes pimps, but sex workers do not like pimps. Pimps are terrible people. They don't do anything but abuse the people that work for them and take half their money. So the objectification of pimp and pimp culture is directly from misogynoir. We know this. It's glorified in hip-hop, but, like, if you actually think about it and what pimping actually is horrible. And that's what trafficking is.
When you have a number of females, problems start to arise. You know, and last time we even talked about how violence becomes part of the pimp game. How sometimes you've said that you've had to put your hands on women.
Fighting is like a criteria. You know, it's like the jewelry, the clothes, and all that. The cars is a criteria. It do happen. It's part of the game. You know what I mean? Because you got to establish a certain thing. You got to establish some fear in that female in order to get that respect.
Pimping is trafficking, for all those who haven't caught up. So Drake is a pimp, and all of his friends are pimps, and they're trafficking people. They're trafficking young children.
God! Allegedly!
And we're all just dancing and laughing along. Like, no, it's not okay. If people listen to black women and sex workers, we wouldn't be here. We would not be here. We would not be here. Like, oh my God.